frags just yet, but Shock finds Crew, and the Earth Shatter comes in. It's massive! Paragon showing us it's his turf. White's now
and a pulse bomb from Trev ends up getting the double kill there in the backline. Upgrade able to pick up. Oh goodness, here comes the Blizzard! Gonna look to get the entire...
And in the sleep though, in the nade in, and they don't even need a single ult here to win it other than Shatter. And Kavat taking out Socher there from a mile away.
Upgrade taking out Big Throat. That's the long one. Oh, but...
Paragon with another Shatter! That's three
Shatters! In the backer. This may be possible. It could be. It really could be the boom. Oh, still here.
Welcome to season 3. Welcome to season 3 of the Rose Cup. Welcome to season 3.
Welcome to season 3 of the Rose Cup.
Welcome to season 3.
Welcome to season 3 of the Rose Cup.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another amazing match at...
Ladies and gentlemen, Omnix and Talon supporters, welcome to another night here at the Rose Cup Overwatch. We are here bringing it to you live. It's going to be another match here in Season 3. We are here in the Masters Division, and I am, of course, Wari, joined by my favorite person in the back. He's just so full of life and elegance and class. It's my man of class.
Yeah, it turns out I'm here tonight. There's no place else I'd rather be, to be honest, because I mean, if there's one thing we all love, and we all love to talk about, it's Overwatch. And we get to talk about it, and you get to listen to us. So I
That's
don't know
right.
who's luckier. I don't know who's luckier. If it's the players, us, or maybe even you listeners and viewers. I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is we have a lucky matchup, Masters Division, on the Paul Sanctum, going into it straight away. We don't even get a break here, Wari.
No, but because we don't get a break, we got to bring you these teams, right? So in the blue today, we're going to have From the Ashes Phoenix, going to be referred to as FTA Phoenix or just Phoenix. And of course, in the red going up against them is the Eggplant Astronauts, going to be referred to as Astronauts. Both of these teams are again in the Masters Division, and I'm super excited. Manaclass, how are these teams doing in records?
Oh, FTA Phoenix, they're doing so great. They barely lost a map. I think they might have lost one map. So they're 9-0, 9 wins, 0 losses, a very great map differential. They're just uncontested at the first place right now. They have Eggplant Astronauts. They're not doing as hot, but they're still doing pretty well. I mean, they're in 7th place right now, played 8 matches, won 5, lost 2, had to forfeit 1, unfortunately. So 5-3, if you would count that towards their win-loss ratio. So they're not as high in the standings, but this could be a good place to show that they matter in this group as well.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see these teams face off here. Of course, I love seeing the higher level divisions play because we get to see a little bit more meta, sometimes a little bit more skill. But the most thing that I'm always looking for is positioning, because when you have really good positioning on certain players that may not be meta, you can really take advantage of them. Speaking of that, right now we are going to be seeing FTA From the Ashes not running double shields. They're going to be running a Ball and a Sigma right now, as they're going to be opting to go all the way around up inside of the house. And Ball's going to try to quickly get a boop off. He's unfortunately caught off guard and split from his team, but that's okay with Ball. He's going to be able to get 2 boops right off of the point there, beautifully and well executed from the Ashes, doing a great job. Shun does pick up members only in that scrap, but it is going to be From the Ashes taking the first point.
Yeah, and that Wrecking Ball might seem like a little bit of a weird pick, an unorthodox pick, but it's fairly logical, actually. It just adds another sort of enhanced Doomfist effect to the team, where it's not just extra CC, but it's that extra target that you're like, we kind of have to focus him, but if we focus him, we don't focus on the front line, and he does take a lot of focus to take down, so what do we do against it? And then by that time, you're already done. So
yeah, he's the perfect split hero, right? The only problem is once you take the point, you now got to try to play this forward aggressive point without a double shield, and you're forced basically to back up. You can't keep that ground for much longer, as we see right now as they're trying to push onto the point. It's going to be dueling coalescences coming out here from either team. Sigma is going to be coming in Alition with that gravitic flux, and it's going to be From the Ashes cleaning up after that. 2 ults used, and they've got another one in the bank. Members only. He's got himself a nice meteor strike.
yeah, I mean, they have triple CC to throw people off the cliff as well, so it's just going to be both the Doomfist and the Hammond and the Lucio, to a degree even the Sigma with the Accretion. So it's very hard to actually get to the point. Well, it's not that hard to get to the point, but it's hard to actually fight on and near the point for the side of Eggplant Astronauts right now. They're going through the other side right now, don't want to take the heads-on attack, and I don't know where they're going to go now.
Genji on the ball. His name is Genji, but he's on the ball. He's going to be diving into the line, going to be trying to knock people up and out of position. Pisser is actually over the edge, got himself back onto the point, and Gravitic Flux from Steelgrass comes out and opens this up from Eggplant Astronauts as they pick off 2, trying to get onto the point, but Genji in the back line does pick off Steelgrass. He does fall in the end. Sybil is going to get himself a boop onto Alition, but it's going to be Pisser with that sound barrier, trying to keep the stall alive. It's just 2 supports against 4 members now of the red team. They're not going to be able to take this point just yet, because member only comes back and gets a beautiful punch in, and Vin decides to use that Death Blossom. Sybil does use sound barrier, a questionable sound barrier there. It seemed like they were going to lose the fight, and he doesn't. And now we see all of the ults coming out. Well, they have to, because it's 99% as Shun tries to get onto the point with the booster bongos, but he doesn't make it in time. It's going to be 100-0 in favor of Phoenix.
Yeah, that last fight, you kind of wonder. So they had numbers advantage and everything, right? Like, how couldn't they clean it up? But as those supports are very sustainable, very mobile, and the fight had gone on too long, which basically means that the 2 members that you just lost are going to not be back yet, but the 4 members they lost were already almost back. Yep. And especially that Reaper obviously coming back in with the Doomfist doing some distraction, then just the Death Blossom comes out. You just don't have anything against that because their tanks were still gone. The tanks being gone was the biggest deal. Either Steelgrass or Shun being there, that Death Blossom doesn't do as much, but that just put the nail in the coffin, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's kill secure, right? You know, people say it all the time. You kill stole, but you know, sometimes you got to secure the kill to secure the point, and that's what we're seeing now. Is we're going to be seeing a switch of Pisser and Vin are going to be now playing the pharmacy, which I really love to see on this point, especially. And of course, we see 16-bit going on to the Sombra, but members only waited for him to be recalled and then punched him right in his face. Gets another 2 kills on the 2 supports in the backline from Eggplant Astronauts, and they are definitely not blasting off here, falling victim and exploding on the launch pad.
And they added another thing to worry about, another dimension of flank and CC. They added the Pharah. Now you don't have only the Wrecking Ball and the Doomfist to worry about. No, you also have to worry about the Pharah coming from weird angles. So you're looking to CC 3 different angles, and that's just never going to happen, no matter what comp you run. Sombra is obviously there to deal with the Wrecking Ball, because the Hack Wrecking Ball is a dead Wrecking Ball, but they're just not even getting in. Look at this.
Yeah, another early pick by Genji takes out Psy on the Doomfist, makes it real easy, but Steelgrass does, you know, come back with another trade, and so it is even now. It's 4-4 here in this fight as we see Sombra go running up into the air. He doesn't have his EMP, so he's not going to be able to do much in the air there except fall down and rejoin the team, but it is going to be Eggplant here slowly moving on to the point and trying to take some space here away from Phoenix, but they are not going down and they are staying true to their name. As Barrage is going to come out with the help of the mines from Genji, and they're going to be able to clean this up and keep this point.
They have to use a few more ultimates than they maybe would have wanted to, not using anything on the side of Eggplant Astronauts. But you're at 50+%, you're going to get 4 more ultimates, you're going to be happy about that. Doesn't really matter. And they seem to be building them up pretty quickly as well. So once again, the high ground approach, it's only the summer right now, so not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I mean, their win condition... Their win condition is EMP, right? And they haven't been able to get it. It's 68% now, and they're still, you know, don't have EMP. We're going to be seeing Coalescence coming out, starting from the ashes. They're going to also counter that back. Vin going to open it up and get a kill onto Psy. We see Bongos coming down from Shun, but it's not enough. Gravitic Flux now on the field. It looks like a full kind of hard rotation trying to pull from the ashes off of the point by Eggplant, but unfortunately it doesn't succeed in much. We finally see an EMP on Sombra, and he's there now to try to stall the point as 94%. He's just going to be waiting for his team now, but he's going to have to touch soon.
They do come in though. This is like they do manage to get there, but I don't know if they have the means. Finally, the EMP is there. Does get the 2 most important members into that, and there's no counter. Oh, there we are. There we are. There they go. They're gonna get the barrage out, get the more ultimates out. It's just a brawl on the point, but they don't have the memory to sustain this in the Eggplant Astronaut side, I feel.
Yeah, the biggest problem that I saw there was EMP, like you said, got the most important people in the fight, but no one on his team was able to counter it and get them, you know, to kill them. This is still becoming a little bit of a brawl on the point, though, as From the Ashes are not letting go very easily. We see Eggplant Astronaut really coming in now to the stall point, but do they have the numbers to try to get these kills and get anyone down? It's not looking like it. They're having a lot of stall here. Shy coming back on the Doomfist, being able to get some punches down, but again, no kills from Eggplant. It's just going to be a ball spinning to win here. He thinks he's Garen, but it's not working out too well as he gets punched up in the air and taken down finally as the overtime candle ticks away.
It's looking exactly like we've used to seen something like this in the GOATS days as well. And the point about what they're doing right now, it's sort of they're kind of playing this like a triple DPS composition in a way. So the way it works is you basically have nothing that you can attack as the other team. The Wrecking Ball, the Doomfist, the Pharmacy, the Moira, and even to a degree the Sigma, if he plays it right, you just cannot really catch them. The Sigma is really the most catchable hero on that side. And meanwhile, trying to get to the Sigma, the rest of the team is just running away and around you, meaning you cannot just unidirectionally shield anything. And that's why that composition works so well. You need to not play meta against it in order to beat it, because it's better than the double shield in most situations
Yeah,
if
I
you
think
execute it correctly.
I think I would have loved to have seen a dive comp come out, right? Maybe a Genji, maybe even a Winston to try to get that initial dive and kill maybe Lucio right off the bat. You get a quick dive on a Lucio, maybe you get Mercy, then maybe even you even throw in like an Ashe or a McCree to try to counter that Pharah in the air. You got to have something on the field in order to take the enemy team off guard, get that opening pick, and then follow up one by one. And like you said, they were just getting kited around. Eggplant Astronaut was just getting kited around by Phoenix. Couldn't catch anyone. Ball goes in, does a boop, gets right out, rolls away. But as he's doing that and everyone turns to try to fight the ball, you have your Pharah just raining justice down from above. So
Doomfist coming in, Sigma still doing damage. I guess, like you said, there's just a lot happening at the same time. And I don't know if dive is necessarily the answer. I don't know if you can fight it with your own dive. And I feel that if both teams go towards that mobile, if they basically play the same style, the fight's actually going to go on for a long time because they're relatively sustainable and they're all hard to hit and they all are sort of only susceptible to CC, which they neither really have. And then they can't really burst anything down. So what do you focus in that case? And it really becomes a weird fight at that point. So I don't know if that would make it into a stalemate. What I do know is that it's going to be a very different type of situation on a map like Anubis, because it's not that easy to kite around your enemy when there's a very linear point you have to attack or defend.
I mean, that is true to a certain degree. I think if anything from that last map is any indication, I think Phoenix is definitely going to still run that Pharah, because running Pharah on defense with a ball here is actually super, super effective, because look at all these spots, right? You have high ground on the left by the bridge, you have high ground by the mega pack, you can play all the way in the back, you can play close up. If you can just spread your team out, I think, and get the picks too, that's the other important part, I think you have a great chance of running that kind of kiting dive comp. Now, we've seen it done with Symmetra and Bastion as well, where you're sitting high ground with a Symmetra and a Bastion in kind of a bunker, and you just kite the enemy team around because you just teleport your entire team to the other high ground. So I'm very interested to see what these teams are going to come out with. I have a feeling we're going to see some double barrier because, well, I mean, it's attack defense. You got to run double barrier.
It's finally happening. We see them not play the wrecking ball, but it's defense. Like on defense, you definitely can go for a little bit more static ranged composition because you don't have that much space to kite back to. Like that's what I talked about. Is it's a very linear way of playing, so you don't really have that luxury of doing that. On the attack, they might go for it, but not on the defense.
So let me ask you this, Mana Class, right? We see Vin playing the Mei, right? And initially you think, all right, this is to counter what? This is counter the pulled pork combo and potentially a Symmetra, right?
Yeah.
So, when you play this comp, you're kind of expecting them, I think, here to do a Symmetra teleport, right? Look at members only's positioning. He's setting up in the high ground, trying to dive when you block them off. But we don't see that actually coming out from Eggplant.
It's a mirror. No, it's just a mirror, and that is interesting to see.
With a Reaper.
The Mei on the attack. Yeah. Mei on the. Sorry, yeah. Go ahead.
So that setup that we see going on right now, I would have expected that to be a Symmetra teleport, right? Not the Reaper, because you wall off, you get to the bottom line, and then you teleport to point, right? But instead, the counter to that is Vin walls off half this team, and then they just collapse on the rest of Eggplant Astronauts, which is exactly what we just saw. They just jumped right onto the staircase, and everyone was dead.
I mean, the attacking Mei is often used, generally speaking, against Bastions and spam compositions. So Bastion, Junkrat in general, Bastion in general. So you could just wall them off, wall them up, and either move them in a vulnerable or at least a non-damaging spot, which is what you want. But they're using the Mei they're using the Mei sort of the same way, but it's not really working because that wall was a bit off.
No, and they do get to the point with the help of a speed boost, and unfortunately a mistimed wall by Vin. He's unable to separate his team, but Coalescence coming out from username Suck as he's going to be trying to get himself something and keep his team alive, but the damage from Doomfist is a little bit too much as they're going to count it down. Alicia now also getting a pick onto Shun, so countering that back. Members only coming in and picking up 2, and it's going to be from the ashes. Phoenix just cleaning up, not letting them get a single tick there.
Yeah, you can just look at the ult percentage that certain team members have actually accrued. And you can just see that Vin is so far ahead in the May percentage. And now they're going to switch over to the Pharmacy, which is logical. I don't know if I agree with the Lucio pick, but you kind of have to get past him quickly. So I guess that's why they keep it.
Yeah, when you switch over to the Mercy, I'd like to see a little bit more healing for your team, right? A little bit of a Moira there to keep everyone alive. It is going to be able to separate his team, though. So with the Mercy, everyone is focusing on this Pharah Mercy. They are going to take down Mercy here in the fight, but now they're going to collapse back onto the point. I mean, this was somewhat of a smart strategy, but once your Pharah Mercy is completely dove and dead, what do? You kind of have to regroup. You can't take a 4-on-6 on the point with only a Lucio. Not going to happen.
Yeah, all of that just relies on the perfect timing because the Pharmacy went in too deep too early in order to be more than a distraction. So they were a distraction, yes, but they were too close and could therefore actually be taken out of their positioning. If they had waited a little bit longer for their own team to be in position, they could have actually done a pincer move. But there's the Blizzard already. They don't even get a chance to escape. Look at that.
Yeah, they try to come in that same route yet again, and they get Blizzard on, and then it's just, again, just a slow cleanup. Pharah Mercy unable to really do much right now as they're just poking in the back, and they're going to have to fall back and regroup. I really need to see them take a different approach here. It's like beating your head against the wall that isn't working. Pick something new. Try a new approach. Go to the right side. Maybe, you know, force the shields to turn around. Then you can get some poke damage in from the side. We'll see how it plays out.
They are now able to still get that Pharmacy into place. The ultimates are coming online, but they are online for both teams. That Rock again gets them, but now they can't. Rock can't get them again. Everyone is in sound barrier out, and this is where the fight's actually going to take place.
Rain from above. It is going to be a 2 swap here, but it is going to be Rivetic Flux that also gets 2. But finally, we see some more forcefulness on the point. Username Suck is going to be able to res Psy on the point, so now it's a lot of DPS, a lot of damage alive for Eggplant Astronauts. 16-Bit's going to be trying to doing a lot of damage from above, completely uncontested right now, but he's unable to find and secure these kills as the tanks from the Ashes are just keeping their team alive and shielded. Alicia's going to be coming back into the side of the back line here from the stairs, so it is a slow overrun and it is in overtime, so we'll see. Gravitic Flux finally coming in for the side of Eggplant Parm as they're going to be coming in and rezzing Sybil. Now 2 supports, almost a 6v6 here on the point, and it's slowly turning back in favor of Eggplant. But from the Ashes, they are sticking true to their name and not giving up whatsoever. They are stalling. They are in it to win it. Genji's coming in, and then they even invest the sound barrier. It's just Shun on the point with 16-Bit. Now he's coming in with a barrage, but he gets lifted up into the air, and that's it. What a match. What a stall. That was impressive.
That was a simple numbers game. I'm gonna say it because that was just it. This is where not having that Moira came into play. They used the barrier to get to the point. They got a numbers advantage, and then they didn't push through. They didn't get those extra kills. Like you said, the tanks were able to stay inside of the room, keep everyone alive, and they couldn't keep getting the kills. If you clean up those tanks or clean up at least 2 or 3 more members, that point's done. It's over. But the Tracer comes back in, the Moira comes back in. You only have a Lucio and a Mercy. One of them was actually dead, I think, at that point. You don't have enough healing. The Valkyrie was already out as well, and they refused to use the Reaper ults. I understand the thought process. You think, okay, we'll have the Reaper ults, because then, you know, we have it for point B and we can attack there. But that was not your concern. Your concern was ending that fight as soon as you could, and they couldn't end the fight quick enough, which meant that Sustain just, more healing means we live longer, so we win. That was what FTA Phoenix was saying.
you see the DPS from the Ashes just come back with the stall, right? A Tracer rejoins. You already have a Doomfist who can get back to the point quickly, and they're just able to come back in from the side and just wreak havoc.
Just win.
Just win. There you go. That's all you can say, right? What else?
Yeah.
What else can you say? Now we're gonna see if Eggplant Parmesan. I keep saying Eggplant Parmesan. I don't really know why. I really like Italian.
It's
food.
EP, right? Yeah.
It's just EP, right? It's Eggplant Parm, right? No, it's Eggplant Astronauts here. If they're gonna be able to do a full hold, they are gonna be damage boosting Psy on the Ashe. I do love to see this, and they have a little bit of an unconventional comp here because they've got that Junkrat, but he's got to go up against Vin, who's on the Widowmaker. So will he be able to get the picks? He leaves his Mercy out alone, and unfortunately Anna is going to be contested here against Genji, who comes into the backline. Of course, Genji's just his name. He's playing the ball. He's playing on that tank support, and they decide to go dive here from the Ashes.
Yeah, we saw this coming.
Huge anti-nade as well from the attacking side. Shun is now alone on the point in the backline, and it is just almost a complete slaughter, but Shun is here to pick up 2 kills, and it is going to be Anna with the help of Steelgrass on the Hog that picks up 2 kills here. Is he going to be able to kill Genji? No, he's not! Just the tank alone! Tank v tank, it's a 2v2, then becomes a 2v1. Steel can't hold it together.
That's unfortunate. I mean, that's not what you want to see happening there, of course, but yeah, it's sort of what you kind of saw coming after that defensive hold, the full point hold, no ticks given, and then is coming with the dive. They already looked so good at it on control. It kind of feels inevitable at that point that's going to happen. Still unfortunate that it happens once again, but can't really blame them for just executing their strat properly. So yeah, we're going 2-0 into that with this 2-0 FTA Phoenix, of course. And yeah, I mean, it's not surprising looking at the standings, but it is surprising how dominant this looks.
Yeah, maybe what we need to see is Astronaut come in with their coaches and maybe give them a little bit of a boost. Speaking of coaching, if you're looking for Overwatch coasting or just want a side-by-side session with those that serve in the US of A, that's right, the United States Army. Well, the Rose Cup is now teamed up with the Army Esports organization, and when you have 6 players complete the free registration with the US Army Esports org, then one of the GM Army teams will schedule a time to meet and work with players and team up with you to help you get through 3,500. Now, of course, more information, if that is what you want, well, you can go into the Rose Cup Overwatch Discord and DM usae.fluty on Discord to get yourself signed up. But for right now, we'll see if these teams can go back, talk to their coaches, and bring some fire. I'd like to see the Astronauts blast off, so don't go anywhere.
And a sneaky hammer down from Raven. A very risky. Blue goes down, the shatter falls from Paragon, the Blizzard will follow it up. I don't think anyone's getting out alive over here. Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
Needs to go see a chiropractor. The straw that broke the camel's back seems to be blue, just finally matching his DPS on the other side of the screen and dragging it.
Never reminded, never taken whatever you told me. I know what I could be. Making a motion pentacle and so tell me, is this what you meant?
walk through that bunker comp, it really kind of prevents you from getting some picks here. Of course, Phoenix doing a lot of work here, taking down both Snee and Raccoon in the air, and then of course getting a flashbang kill onto Ozymandias as they just roll right through Dark Allegiance. So, of course, all of my analysis was completely wrong.
Looking for the sextuple, not going to be able to get it, unfortunately. But team kill still going to ring out loud and proud as RGH takes down.
Ladies and gentlemen, Omnix and Talon supporters, welcome back from the halftime. We are, of course, here with the Rose Cup Overwatch Season number 3 Masters Division game between Astronaut, the Eggplant Astronauts, and From the Ashes Phoenix. I am, of course, one of your casters, Wari. I am joined by the man himself. He gives me the analysis. He gives me all of the information. It's Man of Class.
Yeah, I'm still here. I haven't gone anywhere. Didn't need to. It was a short break, so I didn't feel the need to get up. But I've got my water, so I'm good. And yeah, we've seen a very interesting first half. Not a close first half. I don't think we can make the argument that it was close by any means.
Not at all.
The reason why it's interesting is because we see this composition that For the Ashes Phoenix is pulling out that has been making some waves in the higher echelons as well. We've seen it coming out from a team called the Dedicated Gaming, has been doing a lot of work in the what we call a tier 3 and above scene. So they went very far in the Title Esports Invitational. And yeah, they just basically didn't lose a game there, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think they won the entire thing, that basically means. So yeah, they sort of stomped everyone with this new wrecking ball composition. They used it a little bit differently, but the concept is still the same. And you can see that Eggplant Astronauts are just as stomped as a lot of teams in that tournament were. It's like, we don't really know how to deal with this. And it is still a very new thing. It kind of feels like what Clockwork Vendetta did, and when Goats was new. Like,
I was just about to say, it feels.
How do we feel? How do we deal with
Goatsy.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That being said, yeah.
When you bring a team like Goats, right, who is literally meta and game defining, right, and then you see the same thing happening again. The question is, like you said, what do you do to stop this? You know this is what's coming. Are there going to be balance changes that Blizzard comes out? I mean, do you just have to really come up with off the wall strategies to try to counter this? I don't know, but we might find out as we're moving into Numbani, and it is going to be the blue team From the Ashes starting out on defense. And from what we're looking at right now, it looks like they're going to be playing a pretty standard-ish bunker comp here, though with a slight exception here, they are going to be playing that Pharah Mercy combination.
Yeah, that is fairly meta nowadays, because you want to have that sort of off angle DPS or just hero of any kind, really, that doesn't sit in the bunker. Because if it's just the bunker, there's a lot of ways you can approach it, and it's way more linear in the way you deal with it. But if you have that Pharah flying from an off angle, you cannot just hide from it, because then you'll not be hiding from the Pharah. So there's more stuff to deal with, makes it harder. That's the moral of the story. And the other side, they're gonna use the Symmetra and the Mei this time around.
Yeah, so Mei, obviously, like you said in the previous map, it's definitely to counter this Bastion, right? They're going to try to TP, they're going to wall off the Bastion, they're going to come around maybe and set up on point. They are going in the back, but Vin should be able to spot them out. He doesn't even look. He misses a boop opportunity completely and just has to fall back to put some damage down onto his point. They are going to successfully wall off a couple members from the Ashes Phoenix and actually pick up this fight, at least the beginnings of it. They have to try to continue to push here, but members only is able to take down Mei, and it is going to be Walshy that brings back up Alishan. So they are now in a somewhat of a disadvantaged position as the respawn is much quicker from the Ashes. Staying true to their name, they're going to be able to rise again for defense.
Yeah, Sigma won't be on the high ground though. He can't actually get there because his path is blocked. So that's at least a bonus that they have. But I think it was definitely problematic. They're trying to get the respawns in through the teleporter. I think they've managed to do so.
They do. It's a boop of steel down onto the point, and it is going to be Bastion lifted up out of the immortality, but unfortunately, no one was able to focus him as they all have to drop to the point to protect Steel. It is going to be now a 2-2 swap here. Side going to pick up the third one here. So now the numbers advantage are definitely in favor of Eggplant, and it looks like they are going to successfully take at least 2 ticks. And yes, it's going to be the first point, I believe, of this map that they're able to take here.
Yeah, they got the first point of the game. No percent on control. No, I don't think they actually got a percent on control. They got no percent on the Anubis, and now they're finally going to get something done here. So that's a good start of Numbani. They got some refreshments in the halftime. But they're dealing with a more meta comp, so this is something they're probably used to, and they dealt with it in a more unorthodox way. Took them maybe one fight longer than it could have, but they definitely dealt with it, and now they're with an old advantage going to defense and had to swap off their Bastion is now on the Hanzo members only.
Blizzard's going to be coming down from Psy, but a barrage coming to try to cancel it out, but he gets taken down. Window of Pain coming in from Pisser in the backline, unable to get anything with that. He does pick up a couple kills, but it's not going to be enough to secure this point here. Walshy doing the stall dance here in Moth mode on the point, just trying to stay alive, and he's doing a really good job of it. Will he finally fall here? But did he stall enough time to let his team back on here to counter to contest this point? I don't think so.
No, and obviously that happens sometimes. The Streets phase isn't that holdable unless you hold it that first corner. You rarely get another opportunity here. So that's a 5-minute 10 for point 3, and that's quite a lot of time. Nice Gravitic Flux to start it off with.
Starts it up, picks up 3-4 people, but unfortunately his team wasn't there to come around the corner to follow up on it. A Gravitic Flux from Genji now coming back on time. Sound Barrier comes in to try to mitigate it. They do pick up the Symmetra in that fight, and Pharah is in the air, basically uncontested at the moment, just doing so much damage. Sai is going to drop that Mei, and Symmetra drops the wall to allow his tanks to just regroup some of their shield and push in against this Bongo. The cart is now rolling over the Bongo as they slowly push in. A little bit of a scrappy fight here, man.
Yeah, but the fight's not over. It just keeps on going. There's finally Barrage. That will finish it off.
That will definitely finish it.
Yeah, it's just that's what happens. Just 3 down, 2 to follow, and just Lucio getting out alive as his tradition at this point. Lucio,
I would expect a swap, and yes, we do see a swap off of Symmetra now. He's going to be deciding to go to Sombra, though, which is also an interesting point. Nope, okay. He plays the McCree. A little bit safer pick here. Shun gets himself rocked to the face as they're going to now slowly regroup and now decide that they've had enough of Vin on Pharah. They're going to try to take him out. Coalescence coming out, now trying to get an aggressive push here as they're going to be able to try to do some damage here to members only as he swapped over onto the Doomfist. But unfortunately, they aren't able to get a pick here. They only gain some space here. Sai trying to build up that Blizzard at 66%. I think that's going to help them get into this win condition. 16-bit does take down Vin. Walshy is looking maybe like he wants to go in for that res, but he thinks a little bit smarter himself. Sai gets a rock to the face after splitting off the team, so he's not able to kill anyone, and that barrier comes down from Pisser to keep his team alive. Members only diving into the backline, and a Blizzard coming down from Sai. He's going to be able to take down Walshy, and members only getting kind of caught in that Blizzard, unable to counter back. Vin does take down 2, but the cart is going to now slowly move forward.
Yeah, it is going to move. They've lost a few members on their own side, though, so they never need to keep getting these kills and keep staggering them out. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to push this into last. Sound Barrier came out late in order to sustain that, and did keep getting some kills. But now they're just going to wait. They're going to wait until they have enough members. The barrage is almost there from Vin. There's a Gravitic Flux. Only gets Sigma in the air. Will they be able to touch in time? Yes, barely.
Shun does take down Genji in the air, and it's going to be a beautiful kill from McCree onto Doomfist to try to keep this up. Coalescence coming out from Username Sucks, and a High Noon coming out for the zoning capability. Everyone tries to get behind those shields, and unfortunately, it's not enough with the rest of his team just walking through. Genji now on the point, just trying to contest again. He's on the ball contesting here, and a barrage comes in, but he gets rocked to the face and cancels out completely. Will members only's kill onto McCree be enough to keep his team alive and in this fight? Alishan comes back on the Reinhardt with that charge. He's going to be trying to put down tons of damage, and it's going to be a brawl on the point. This is what we were talking about earlier. We need to see Eggplant come in and finish it out, but the kills are not going in their favor right now, as From the Ashes, I'm going to say it again, are true to their name, and in what was looking like a losing fight, have enough to stall it out and rise again.
They couldn't kill the ball. Genji was just spinning around that point. Nothing was being done. Wasn't slowed down. Barely got to half health. Like, literally barely got to half health. That's how little damage they were able to do on the ball. And they were focusing other targets down. The Fire didn't get the barrage off. The Mercy went down. The Flashbang just wasn't used because they focused down. They knew the only CC they had was that McCree after the Sigma was gone. So there was nothing to CC down the Wrecking Ball. And that was the biggest problem they had.
Members only gets off of the Doomfist, goes onto the Torb, and Vin decides to go onto the Doomfist. So a little bit of a swap in the DPS positions. We see Genji dropping the mines into the backline, and Walshy using Coalescence to keep his team alive, as well as the Sound Barrier there used by Sybil to keep his team alive. It's going to be a hammer down by Alicia, not capturing anyone, and finally Members Only's turret gets taken down. But does Eggplant have enough to keep through? It's 51 seconds left. Vin coming in, trying to get a punch onto Sai and misses. So Sai's gonna have to retreat and use his recall. He is out of position a little bit, does successfully keep himself alive. It is a trade back and forth. Alishan picking up 2, Members Only picking up a 3rd, and it's gonna be From the Ashes cleaning this up. One fight territory. It's gonna be really, really tough for Eggplant to close out this map.
Ultimates are gonna come online. Members Only getting 2 hammer kills in that fight. That's just salt in the wounds, I'd say. That's a little bit unfortunate that happens to you.
That's when you scream Mangachu in the voice comms.
Basically, yeah. There'll be a Gravitic Flux. There might be a High Noon. We might see a Sky Noon combo. Not much to block that. Not leaving a lot of shields. They're able to break that shield of Volition. Someone will die to that.
They decide not to combos. Gravitic Flux comes in early. I guess they were trying to get the touchdown. Meteor Strike and Mines again from Genji, and it's just enough to do what they're meant to do, which is zone them away from the point. Not even a touch in overtime, and that's going to be 71.41 meters. Yeah, so close for Eggplant.
It's very close.
To get to that third point.
It was 0.51 meters away at some point. That's like the closest they got, but it's 0.36 even. I hear my production say, I'll believe him. I don't think he'd lie to me, although, you know, you never know. Anyways, very close to third, almost got there, but we know how good their first and second points were on their attack. So if they're able to hold properly on any of the first and second points, they have a very good chance of still winning out this map. And they obviously needed Eggplant Astronauts, because if they don't win this map, then, well, the series is over. So they will still have to play the 4th map, but they'll be 3-0 down, so they can't really win the series anymore. They play the map right, and that's never a good position to be in.
It's kind of played into From the Ashes' favor there, right? I mean, we know Genji likes to play this ball composition, right? This kind of sparse, spread out, kiting composition, and then you get into a position where all you have to do is stall and play ball again. It's not like he switched on the ball and it's like an out of comfort pick, let's try to stall, right? He's very, very comfortable on this ball. We've seen it this entire series. So when he gets on the ball, he builds up 2 mines in like less than a minute. It was extremely impressive work coming in from the ball man himself, Genji.
All right, now we're going to be looking for the defense being set up with that Bastion as well. But interesting enough, they're not using that Pharmacy. They're using the Moira and the Sombra. And that could be very good, but they're obviously expecting this ball to come out this time, so that could be very detrimental.
Yeah, one of the problems I think with Sombra is you have to try to get as many people into EMP, right? That's your win condition. But when you're playing against a team that's playing so spread out, and as as we said before, Kaidi, it's going to be really difficult to do that. But we see Phoenix doing something a little bit interesting this time. They're very split and really trying to focus down team, but it is, of course, Eggplant doing a really good job of being split right now for themselves and keeping everyone alive. Vin's trying to put some damage down range into the top line, but that Baptiste is keeping that Bastion alive. Unfortunately, no picks coming down, ball coming in from the back, and a May to try to wall that off, but with the damage down from Bastion, it's just too much, too little. Will we see a full hold here from Eggplant? I don't know.
Yeah, 16-bit is definitely doing a lot of work against that Wrecking Ball, being basically a digital pain in the ass, if that makes sense. Not really the ball again. Oh, the Moira goes down.
Walshy comes in with that Coalescence to open up that fight with the help of Members Only, who gets the first pick, and then from there it was just collapse as Vin picks up 4 kills in that fight to just take point A.
Yeah, like the biggest problem there was that the Orisa had been booped off the high ground. That's the one you really wanted to keep up there in order to get anything done, really. And unfortunately, they couldn't. So if the Orisa fell, the Bastion was way too exposed after just a few seconds because of the shield being gone. And then the Bastion fell afterwards. Moira Bastion down, and then afterwards you miss a lot of damage, a lot of healing, and the rest of the team will shortly fall. And that was exactly what happened. There will be an EMP and a Coalescence online now, but there's also so much for the attackers. They could very well snowball this.
Yeah, look at how aggressive From the Ashes is being. They're trying not to give up any space whatsoever. They're even going to use ults here. Blizzard coming down into the back line, but it is canceled and eaten by Steelgrass. Here, EMP coming in. Now the follow-up has to come in. They're a little bit slow to get there. Will they be able to capitalize on this? It's going to be Coalescence coming down, and a hack on the Vin right as he was about to barrage. It really looked aggressive there. So 16-bit doing a lot of work here. Walshy going to be able to take him down, and they're going to be able to potentially move this card a little bit forward. Now Walshy getting damage boosted while using that Coalescence, trying to eat some space. He is going to take down Psy and now try to kill Sybil off of the point. Will he be able to keep his team alive and stall it out? The 2 supports on the point doing a good job of stalling. It's now time for Sybil to fall on the point to move forward.
I don't know if they're going to be able to contest again. Once again, they didn't actually contest on the first corner, meaning that it's very hard to come back in time. They might be able to do it, but they will need to use ults to get back in. I don't think they're going to opt for that. They're probably just going to let it go. Meaning there will be 5 minutes in order to get this little under for 430 or something, 450. There we go. And yeah, the main thing I want to see Eggplant Astronauts do is put their ultimates in a little bit of a spot where they can actually follow up on them, because that EMP was way too far forward. The Gravitic Fluxes are usually too far forward, and I want them to be in a position where they can actually kill things with it.
Gravitic Flux combos here by either team going out. It's going to be a bit of a contest here to see who's going to come out up top. Genji in the back line trying to do some work on that ball. It's going to be the Bongos coming down from Eggplant, and Mines coming down right on top of Eggplant. It's going to be Coalescence coming out, but look, Members Only is now on the Genji in the backline trying to do some damage here, but he gets halted back into the team. But Walshy comes down with Barrage to keep his team alive, and he does successfully help with Vin's Barrage, and it is not looking good for Eggplant. They do swap off of the Sombra for the last fight, and it's going to be a McCree. He's got himself a high noon. It could work out very, very well for them, but they got to get out and stall the point. It's going to be a charge coming in from Shun as he swats on to the Reinhardt to stall it out. They do successfully make it to the point, but they've got to hold this for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. McCree is being so much pressured right now by Vin without even a mercy there to keep him alive, and Pisser comes in for that Rish onto the ball. Are we gonna see this high noon? It does come out finally. Genji tries to get into his face. He's gonna be there. He does take him down. The card is still pushing forward. Shun does pick up 2 kills, big kills there to keep it alive. Vin is trying to do some damage, but I think we're finally gonna see Eggplant stabilize, maybe, from the ashes. Keeps coming in. Walshy and Genji have done it before. They do successfully spend some ultimates here to secure this stabilization, as they do use Coalescence to force them back.
Yeah, 3 minutes left, and this is obviously where the hold really starts, because we've seen this before. You get it almost to the end, and then not quite. So very much possible for another 2-minute 45 hold. Ultimates are starting to come online, though. They'll have both DPS ultimates. They'll have a Coalescence and the mines that have been so great from Genji's Wrecking Ball. There will be some of the defense as well, though, especially that sound barrier could be really big.
Yeah, we see a Genji ultimate, we see a Blade, we see a Barrage, we see Mines, and there it is, Barrage coming in. And the Blade comes into the backline with Coalescence. They're using all their ultimates. They want to be able to win this fight completely, but a lot of CC is coming down from Eggplant's side. It is going to be a flashbang, which cancels basically 2 people to follow from up, and we see a Shatter. This is a huge use of ultimates here from Eggplant. Are they going to be able to keep this alive? It's 16-bit coming in with the kill, and he gets another one on to the Pharah. So another stabilization, another ultimate. I'm not really sure that was needed there. Coalescence used. I guess they really wanted to secure that, and maybe he's going to swap here, but that doesn't make much sense here. We're going to see members only switch off of the Genji, and he's going to be now on the Doomfist, and Vin now off of the Pharah on the Reaper.
I mean, Username has gotten the Coalescence every fight, so you might as well use it if you have it, right? No, but they still have the sound barrier, so they're good against much as comes out. And there isn't much to work with for the attackers. They've swapped up almost all the composition, so it's only the Moira and the Sigma that really remain.
Members only coming around the flank, trying to get something happen here. Coalescence comes out, and he's got a battle of the high noon and a sound barrier there. Sai does pick up one. Members only comes in, trying to get a punch onto Sybil, but he misses, and then he's unable to follow up on it. 16-bit is going to force the rest of the enemy team back. So it is from the ashes that are now in the hot seat. They've switched up their comp completely into the more meta double barrier with only 60 seconds left, and they've got to go up against 3 ultimates. It's actually looking good for Eggplant to take a map.
The thing is, though, they swapped their comp in time, that they will get all their ultimates up in time, so it's all about how many ultimates do they waste on the defense before the 6 ultimates are in line for the attack. That's a good Blizzard.
Blizzard comes in, cancels out the Gravitic Flux, picks up 1 person, but it's not enough to kill him down, and it's going to be Username Sucks with that Coalescence, but Walshy gets it again, and Elision takes down 2, and Vin gets another kill. The numbers are now in favor from the ashes. Username Sucks doing his best job to stall, trying to keep his team alive in this fight. We do see a couple stall characters coming out. We see the ball. We see a Lucio getting onto the point. Hammer Down tries to come down, but he gets canceled out. Steel on the ball, trying to keep alive, but it's going to be the sound barrier. Can the focus come in from Rise the Ashes? 16-bit now on the Tracer. It's Stall City, but there are the ultimates when you need them. Death Blossom coming in, and that's going to be map 3 from the ashes. I'm going to say it one more time, Mana Class. They stay true to their name and take what was a losing battle and raise it to the top.
I mean, like, the problem there was that the Blizzard was good, but because of the Gravitic Flux, only the Mayor herself could actually follow up on it. I think that's where it went wrong. You should, like, a good team, or at least the best teams, they realize that situation. Okay, so only the Mayor can follow up on it, so none of us follow up on it, or you put yourself in a position where if you try and follow up on it, at least you'll be fine. Like if they come back down or unfreeze or you don't kill him. And that wasn't the case. So it was immediately clear that that 16-bit was not going to be able to get out of that. And then Elision was living, and it was just a little bit of a problem all the way around. And that kind of solidified it, because then they get the 1 pick, they get a 2 pick from someone trying to actually save the May, and then it kind of snowballs afterwards, because if you lose 2 members, then it's 6v4, and then it's not really much else you can do.
Yeah, but we have to give credit to Eggplant Astronauts in that last 3 minutes and 50 seconds. I mean, they did a really good job of forcing Phoenix off of what they've been playing and dominating with this entire series so far. They forced them to swap back to this, new goats. People were calling it double barrier, Reaper Doomfist, and in the end, that's what kind of just pushed Astronaut, into the ground. But again, big props, much better performance we've seen from Astronaut here on this third map as we're going to be moving into our fourth and final map. It's going to be, I believe, Rialto here in Escort. And, Phoenix do take this series 3-0. They might make it 4-0. And if what you said earlier holds true that they've rarely dropped a map, I think they're going to
I
take
think
it.
once. Yeah, I think they dropped it once, so they're not even. I think we often see this map for when it's already 3-0 go to a little bit more of a fun place where they just play what they want to play. But it kind of feels like Phoenix is already doing that. So yeah, that wouldn't really be a change up for them because they kind of play what they want to play and make it work in a way. So they play the Genji, they play the Wrecking Ball, they played some Tracer, some Reinhardt, some Winston. Like it's almost all been played by at this point. So it's very much possible that that kind of makes it so that they never lose a map because they can pull out whatever they want and make it work.
Yeah, I think it's hard to go up against a team like that, right? That's clearly practiced on a couple different metas. They clearly have the communication to follow up their ultimates, to know when to use their ultimates. And it's, it makes it a little difficult. And if you want to become and get that, get to that level, well, maybe you should look for some coaching. And in this pause, as a DC did happen, I'm going to tell you about this opportunity that you guys all have for coaching or a side-by-side session, because you can do that with those that serve in the United States of America's Army. That's right. The Rose Cup is now teamed up with the U.S. Army Esports Organization. And when you have 6 players complete the free registration with them, one GM Army team will schedule a time to meet and work with the players and your teams up through 3,500. Of course, more information can be found in the Discord if you DM usae.flutey, Flutey. That's right, Flutey, like the musical instrument, the wind instrument. You can go to the Discord, DM him, and get yourself signed up for some coaching or side-by-side sessions. Might help your gameplay, could definitely help your team.
It's always good to get some good coaching, quality coaching. So that is definitely something to look out for. That being said, though, it's just coaching is not always the only answer. So there's definitely more you could do. But for both these teams right now, they have enjoyed coaching.
Man, man of
I don't
class.
know where, but
Listen,
yeah.
I think we all understand coaching's not the only thing you can do, but you're ruining my segues.
Yeah, you know
Okay?
what? It's
You gotta
it's my job.
you gotta plug the sponsors, right? You gotta plug the partners, right? And you gotta do it in a fun, interesting way, which is riding a Segway down the street.
Yeah, potentially. That's something you can definitely do. We're currently still waiting, of course, for the one player to rejoin the lobby. We're trying to get an ETA on that right now. We're not really quite sure what's going to happen, so we can talk a little bit about whatever we want to talk about, really.
Whatever I want to talk about. I want to talk about what we're
Yeah.
going to see on Rialto. I mean, obviously, the double shield meta is extremely strong, especially with Orisa and the ability to halt people and then boop them, right off that first bridge. You can be very, very aggressive on the defense, but we have seen Wrecking Ball and that composition come in. So, I mean, based on what you've seen this series, what is Phoenix going to be playing on defense here?
Any opportunity to boot people into a river on Rialto, you're probably gonna want to take because it's just an easy kill. And
So
that means that
Farah,
Wrecking Ball is 100% possible. But yeah, Farah has been really good in this map. Orisa as well, Wrecking Ball, Lucio. Those are just characters that work very well. Then again, Doomfist, more long range characters like Hanzo sometimes. May can work for the sort of smaller chokes that you have in there. There's a lot of options. But yeah, on the attack, you can even run a Bastion. You set them up on the payload with a Baptista. You have a proper pirate ship going, which coincidentally, you could also do on a boat on the river here, but it doesn't really have that many gameplay applications in that regard. So I wouldn't recommend it, but you could do it. Set up a true pirate ship.
did you just say you want people to set up a bastion on a boat?
I mean, I never said try this at home, but I also didn't say don't try it at home. So, people are going to do what they're going to do.
I mean, Don't try this at home, folks. Don't go into your comp games. Listen, okay. I'm trying to climb the ladder here. I've got 20-minute queues. All right. So please don't go into your comp games. Get Rialto and go Bastion and try to get on the boat. All right. That's all I'm
I
saying.
will say, if you get Warrior on the other side, then by all means do it. But if it's on your team, then
no. Listen, I want even, fair matches. I am not condoning win trading or throwing whatsoever. If you want to try getting on the boat as Bastion against me, I mean, whatever.
Sure thing, man. Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, so Rialto's in Italy, right? You were talking earlier about the eggplant parmesan. Is that something you eat a lot, or?
Oh, whenever I go to a new Italian restaurant and someone recommends an Italian restaurant to me, there's only two things that I get on the first go around, because honestly, it's how I personally judge the quality of the Italian food. It's either eggplant parm or chicken parm, and there's something about those meals, at least for me, that says I'm a good Italian restaurant, right? It's not pasta, it's not seafood necessarily, but the Parmesan, something about that dish. It's so simple and basic. You can make it at home, but when executed properly, it's just completely elevated to the next level, right? You've got proper thickness of your meat, especially on the chicken is a little bit harder to do than the eggplant, right? Because the eggplant you can really kind of slice thin and mash it properly. The seasoning and the breading is super, super important. And of course, if you make your own marinara sauce, I mean, just whole next level. And no, don't put sugar in your marinara sauce, okay? There's no need for that.
Exactly. Sugar in a marinara sauce is like, how can I compare that to anything else, really? It's just a sin. You just don't do it. It's just
like putting pineapple on pizza, all right?
I mean, sugar belongs in desserts. That's about where it needs to be. There's very little else you can use sugar in savory cooking. It's possible, but then it becomes fusion, and that's always interesting territory. Don't go there unless you can do the classics, I always say. But enough about food. Or, well, not really enough about food. There's never enough about food, but it does seem like we have the 12th player back in the lobby, so it looks like we're going to get underway soon. So you got to kind of pull it back towards something we all, are actually aware of what's happening, which is Overwatch. When we talk about food, some people might not even know what an eggplant is or what Parmesan is, for that matter. So let's not go too far here. And
all I want to say is in the chat, I want to hear you guys. What's your go-to Italian dish at the restaurant? That's all I'm going to say.
Oh yeah.
As we are now back in this lobby and we are about to get started on our fourth map here in what has been basically, for the first two maps, was a complete and utter chaos domination from the Ashes Phoenix. But we did see a little bit of life from Eggplant in the end. Eggplant astronauts. That's right. The Eggplant astronauts. They did have a lot of life there at the end of that map on Numbani. So we'll see if they're able to carry that momentum and that vigor into Rialto here as they're going to be on attack starting off.
No Bastion, but it's going to be the full boop comp on the other side. The Wrecking Ball and the Roadhog to pull people in the cliff, and the Lucio, and the Pharah, even the Sombra to potentially hack a Pharah above the river so she just plummets straight down. And the only one that cannot really do anything is the Mercy. That's like the one thing.
And you know what's really interesting here about this comp? They're playing it really, really smart. They're not playing a shield comp, so they're not playing anyone who needs a shield. I mean, look at their composition. Pharah and Mercy are going to be up in the air, out of the way. They can't be protected by a shield. Sombra's going to be in the backline hacking people. The only one who probably could use a shield would be Roadhog, but he's got to take a breather to keep himself alive and escape around a corner, which there are plenty of. So really well done. Genji coming in from the backline and gets the first boop on Steelgrass.
It's just it's always predictable, right? Like, it's gonna happen. It's just who is gonna happen to and who is gonna make it happen first. That was like the big question I had. Someone was gonna fall.
Yeah, boop boop city.
And there's a hook. Oh, not close enough to the water, unfortunately. Oh, the Lucio comes in. Oh, they do keep on going. They don't give up.
Genji knocks people up in the air, but he gets himself stunned. He does get healed by Walshy. Sai does take down Pisser in the back line, so there is going to be some forward momentum now from the Eggplant astronauts as they slowly push this cart in. And I think the advantage here is that they've got a shield, right? I mean, yes, none one on the from the Ashes really needs a shield, and it's going to be a good combo knock up into Barrage, but they aren't able to continue this fight here. Alishan does get himself rezzed and picks up a hook on to 16-bit, but he just ice blocks out of this.
Yeah, Walshy going
stall,
down.
though.
It's a good stall, and it keeps on going for a little bit. They have the respawn advantage in a little bit. Their EMP comes out. He's gonna actually hold here. Insane. Yeah, they're supposed to. Somehow the ice block was on top of Genji on the ball. He's like, I'm not gonna go anywhere. Let's just let this happen.
Yeah, the
and
mines,
Genji gets
really
the finish
do it for
off.
them, right?
Yeah, finish off on the May as well. It's just, I mean, we keep on looking at this and we're like, they're just playing a silly comp, but to a degree they are just playing a silly comp. You know, they're just not. I don't think this will actually keep on working forever. They are just the better team tonight.
Oh
but...
no, another boop! Oh, but he stays alive there.
Yeah.
This is really just like CC Boop City. Oh, there comes Genji with a double boop on username sucks and 16-bit, and then another boop here on this is Boop City. I mean, that's what I'm calling this comp. I want to see other people play it because this is a ton of fun. I mean, how do you get past this bridge right now? Look at where they're holding, right? They're not letting you get to the cart. They're not letting you push forward into this because they have the boops. They can do that. They have the CC. Pisser going to be coming up, setting up top. He's waiting for people to come along this bridge so he can jump in and get another boop. And he's going to combo that with... I thought he was going to combo that with the Genji slam, but Genji does come in and drop his mines here. Barrage coming down as well. Mines picking up one and a nice melee onto site. Look at all the ultimates coming online for Eggplant, though.
Yeah,
Will
they have all of them.
But here's the question, right? How are they going to get any value out of this? All of their ultimates kind of require the enemy team to be grouped up.
I mean, grouped up, static, at least not flying all over the place. That's the main thing we can definitely be assured of. If they fly all over the place, you're not going to get any value out of them. So, yeah, like you say, how are they going to get value out of it? I really don't know. I wish I knew.
Whole Hog is going to come out with Coalescence. They're going to try to push people around. Vin picks up a kill on Desai. Blizzard comes down as well. Sound Barrier coming in from Pisser to keep his team alive. Shun is going to pick up a kill onto Alishan. Walshy is looking for that res. He really wants to get it. Huck on whole pull port combination coming in onto Vin, taking him down, but Walshy decides to pull his pistol out and pick up a kill on the username sucks, but they actually do find value out of their ultimates and they hold on to two of them as well. So they're going to be able to push this card, and I think they're going to be able to take this point here. Though we do see members only switching now.
They have the teleport. They have the Symmetra up already.
The Symmetra.
Quickly get on the card already. This Dragon's going to have to be huge from sides to zone people out.
Alishan coming in onto the Reinhardt, allowing the shield to come down. Dragon coming down to try to keep people away from the point, but the mines are down, and the contest. Vin coming into the backline with the barrage, picking up the bongos and steel grass. Another boop, and who's going to touch the point? He tries to get there. Sai does, but he gets taken down. It is going to be Shun. He's the only one alive. Can Sybil get there as well? No, he can't. He gets taken down as well. So from the ashes, doing what they do best, running around, looking like they're not coordinated, but actually are very well coordinated and pick up that fight, preventing that first point from getting captured.
Running around at the speed of sound. That's exactly what was happening. Yeah, it's unfortunate that Eggplant couldn't get it further. I think they definitely had it in them, but it's just they're not even looking for answers anymore at this point. They just play what they want to play and try to get the best value out of that what it is. So it doesn't look like they're actually trying to find answers to any composition that Phoenix is throwing at them anymore. And they don't have to win this map. They're just gonna get a lot of practice out of this and playing the comp that they want to play on this map. So yeah, it's a bit of a tragic story like this that it has to end this way, but it was a very good hold.
Yeah, I mean, how do you counter that boop strategy, right? Maybe a Bastion on the point.
I mean,
with Orisa?
Yeah, because Bastion cannot be booped, right? So Bastion and Orisa can both put up be unboopable. At least Bastion can be, Orisa can be for a little bit. And then
I mean, what's the strategy of the Hanzo, right? Trying to get a quick pick on a squishy? I mean, trying to capture that headshot?
It's extra burst, and it's that, and maybe a bit of CC. I don't know what they would have comboed it with. Maybe with, I don't even know. and the Hog is obviously to try to anti-CC things, and then there's just a lot of things going on there that you're like, yeah, I see where you're getting at, but they're sort of trying to react while not trying to react, and it doesn't feel like it's worth it at this point. So coming now out, Soldier, that's just a character we just haven't seen in 5 years, I feel.
Yeah, this is definitely from the Ashes saying, we're just going to play heroes that we want to play right now because we don't have to go very far. They have to be careful of boops, and it is going to be 16-bit that takes Alishin down. Pisser going to be jumping into that backside, trying to get some damage down around the corner. And look at this, Genji went on a really long flank here as Hog. He's going to be looking for this Baptiste, but I guess he just walks right past him. No, he does get the hook on him, and it is going to be... no, he stays alive there. Vin is going to fall, and the cart is slowly moving. 16-bit doing a lot of work here, keeping that boop alive, but Pisser is going to be able to slowly push this cart. They have to contest this. He's kind of doing a little bit of a sneaky maneuver around the backside.
Members only spawn camping the Mercy. Members only is as Soldier next to the spawn. The only one that's died has been users' names suck. And members only is just going to snipe him down. They're trying to pick him up. I think the Mercy's going to go down again. It's not
Vin
enough.
is there too
to
keep the cast. Yep, Farah then drops. So now this is an opportunity for them to push the point. It's going to be almost a kill there onto the Bastion, but that immortality just barely saves him.
The charge on the Sybil as well, and now that everything else comes in, members only still spawn camping the Mercy. 16-bit is gonna come out alone, also gonna try and potentially get spawn camped here. Yep, will also go down. They are winning the frontline fight. It's basically one DPS keeping a DPS and a support down here. That's a pretty big problem here.
I mean, they're winning their frontline fight, but it's mainly because From the Ashes are trickling in one at a time. I mean, if we saw both tanks go in with the supports while the two DPS were camping of Farah Mercy in the back, it might have turned out a little differently. So
they finally got the Soldier out. They got him. He's finally down. Now they can rejoin the fight, but it will be a 5v4 for a little bit here for From the Ashes. Sustain
if they can prevent Vin from killing Shun, but they aren't able to do that. But Sai does come in and kill Shun. It's going to be a barrage to try to even this up a little bit more. Genji gets taken down by the help of that Bastion, and now Pisser's got to get himself back to his team with the Ana. So now we're getting really close, though, to what is a basic counter to Bunker Comp, which is 6 ultimates. You come in with 6 ultimates, it's hard to beat that.
You would think, right? But then again, like a lot of these ultimates can be negated by shields or by just general positioning or the immortality field.
Very true.
And then you have the Bastion
and look at their positioning. They're playing that really smart. They're getting into that high ground positioning to try to counter it.
Yeah, they're doing a good job. Oh, the Nano Visor, it's back, baby. Gets as far up, but not much else. The Hog will go down as well. Sai is just on fire right now. Damage boosted and shielded. 3 down already. 1 minute to go, and that was 4 ultimates invested from the attackers.
I think we're seeing a quick switch here. It's going to be, let's play something that we can win with. But it's still 50 seconds. You know, it's only 50 seconds left on the clock, so we're going to have to see members only try to build that dragon as fast as humanly possible if he's going to want to be able to counter this Bastion with it. But Genji goes into the backline on the ball. He does get himself halted, and he's got to go run away. Gravitic Flux, well played here onto Alishin. He's caught out and all alone. They left their Reinhardt to die. Sound Barrier comes out a little bit too late there. Not enough to keep his Reinhardt alive, and then members only is going to fall, so no Dragon alive here. Vin does fall as well with a beautiful rock halt combination, so we may see From the Ashes lose a map. And basically, I don't want to say it like this, but they threw this first map. They threw it.
Look. I mean, it's throwing or deliberately choosing to not reveal these strategies. It's also what you can say. Sandbagging, some people call it. Pulling an NYXL. I don't know what you want to call it, but they are definitely... yeah, they could definitely have played something else here, I feel like.
Yeah, and all the DPS ultimates are available now for Eggplant, and they're just able to slowly whittle this team around. It's just Pisser on the point now by himself. Overtime Candle's going to tick down. Will Genji be able to touch in time? No, he gets booped, and that's it. Astronaut, Eggplant, they do themselves a service, and they take a map off a team that hasn't dropped a map very often. in
Once
this
maybe.
game.
It's just I mean they've won 9 games, so 9 times 4, as everybody knows, is 36. So they've won 34 maps, or we got a 34 map differential, meaning that I think they've dropped 1 map potentially that adds up, and maybe or something like that. So yeah, this is a very rare occurrence indeed. So that basically means that right now we are in a 3-1 final tally of the series. Eggplant Astronauts actually got away with 1 map win, which is more than maybe we could have hoped for after that first half, and it could have potentially been 2. But they been a little bit more on the ball, for pardon the pun.
Pun intended. Pun intended.
On
Yes.
Numbani. I know, but it was
Yes.
partially intended, but yeah.
All
No,
right, so
I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
Speaking of the ball, right, and speaking of that, right, who do you think is the player of the match here?
I mean, I would definitely want to say it's Genji on that ball. It's just because there's just so much going on around that you think like how do you keep getting away with it? I know when I play ball, I'm like, oh, but I always see all these balls just getting away with everything they want and just swinging around inside the enemy team and not dying. And whenever I do it, I just die. And I don't know how it works, but I think it's a very impressive thing he can do it. I think I just have to watch cooldowns more or something like that. It's always something. But Genji was doing a great job on that wrecking ball. Also on the other heroes they played for that matter, I think there was a few times where they actually played Sigma or something else. So it's definitely been something here and there. But just great ball play, and it might be that's what they've just built the team around a great ball.
When you have a phrase like that, you have to end it and you have to give it to Genji for his great ball play. I mean, it's just incredible. Yeah. Who doesn't love a good ball play? I know I do. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching this excellent cast from Season 3, the Rose Cup Overwatch, and we'll see you next time. Good night.